One word. One hypnotist, Chris Jones. Chris Jones. One word. The One Word Chris Jones podcast. Chris, I saw on your Facebook, or I'm not doing any stalking, believe it or not, but I did see on the Facebook the other day that you were doing some magic tricks, and I know that you told me in the past you did magic, and watching you do a magic trick in front of a priest, did you feel a little bit, I don't know, like you're doing something wrong?
I'm doing magic in front of a priest at an airport, and he's a white man, and he has two black men. Like, this white priest is fantastic, works in the black community, and has adopted African-American boys as his own and raises them upright. Like, he's an outstanding guy. But, no, I didn't feel wrong doing tricks. I just felt bad because I didn't have a deck of cards, and I borrowed my buddy's deck, and it was a terrible deck of cards. Like, water damage, everything. And it was like, ugh. And I think I could not be like, I could do a lot better if these were my cards. These cards are horrible. Everything looks like crap. But thank you, Lance, for having those. It came through in the club.
Did Father enjoy the trick?
Yeah. And he had two young men with him who were 16, and that's a pretty good age. Like, you're not too smart for magic tricks. And when they're good tricks, the kids, they appreciate it a lot. So it made me feel nice. It was a good way to start the day.
That's very cool. So I want to kind of back up there from that point, though, from the point where you went up to the father and started talking to him. Now, you're walking through the airport and you notice him, and your fiance said you should go over and talk to him, and you kind of were hesitant to go talk to him. Why is that? Why is that?
I don't want to say he's a celebrity. He's well known, because some celebrities don't have any skill or talent. They're famous for being famous sometimes. This man is a worker. He does a lot in the community. If someone gets shot in the community, which happens, he raises money towards information, towards bringing that person to justice. And then if someone does go to jail, he visits that person in jail. It's not like, you have no redeeming value. It's, you made a mistake. We all miss the mark sometimes. But to keep other people safe, you have to be in jail for a while. But I'll still support you. Like, that's the kind of guy that he is.
So that made you nervous to go talk to him?
I mean, it's kind of like, I'm not saying he's a saint, but he's on a very special level. And I don't want to be just one of those, what do I say? Like, hi, you don't know me, but I know you. You're a big deal. It's one of those things. Like, one of those people you just want to be next to, Do
you think people ever think that way of you? I mean, because you're the guy that's been on TV and you've gone out and done a lot of things in your short life, and you've done some pretty amazing and pretty wonderful things in the time that you've been around. I'm guessing people probably feel the same way approaching you.
Maybe they might feel like a little standoffish, whatever. That's fine, but I'm not raising money for people. I'm not preaching the gospel. I'm not doing the right thing every day. They just say, "Oh, I saw you on TV. You were good." I'm like, "Oh, thanks, man. I saw you on YouTube. You're good." Versus, "You save lives, man. Like, enjoy your flight."
I think I would have felt pretty safe jumping on that plane, too. I'm just telling you.
Oh, I was hoping he was on that flight. I was like, "Guys, give me a present. You make sure we land okay."
So did he know who you were once you introduced yourself?
No, but one of his guys did. He had two 16-year-old men, and they were looking at colleges, and he was going to help them look at colleges and pick a college. But one of them said that he saw me before. I think he Facebook requested me, one of the young boys, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's very cool. So I want to bring up then another point of meeting somebody. I know that also, again, Facebook stalking you, Chris, and I don't want to sound like that guy, but
I love it.
Gordon Ramsay. I saw a picture of you and Gordon Ramsay from a month or so ago. And here's the weird thing. So I said to my wife, I'm like, "Hey, look, Chris is with Gordon Ramsay. It was on a Friday, and you were with me that Sunday. So the previous Sunday. So I'm like,
wow,
he's hanging out with cool people all week long."
Yeah. I don't realize how cool my life is sometimes. I take it for granted. I was in Alaska, and when I landed, people were like, "Hey, by the way, Gordon Ramsay's in town." I was like, "Oh, well, that's cool. Like, what is he doing?" It's like, "Oh, he might be filming." And I was like, "Oh, okay." But, like, the whole community is 40 miles long. So, like, I'm walking in a glacier with my really cool camera. I'm filming the glacier. people are like, hey, like, that's a great camera. Are you part of Gordon Ramsay's team? And I'm like, no, I'm just filming a glacier. And they're like, okay, Gordon Ramsay's here. And I'm like, that's fine. The very last couple hours we were there, people were saying, Gordon Ramsay's at this bar. So I'm like, guys, let's go. So I take my cousin Brandon and the people we're with, and we cross the street to this bar, and sure enough, he's in there. And just chilling out in the corner, and this young lady goes to talk to him, and she asks if I can take a photo with him. And he's like, yeah, sure, absolutely. I say all that to say, she had like a 10-minute conversation with him. All right? I was too nervous, again, to speak to a celebrity. And when I finally was like, I'm going to say something and ask for a photograph, my phone was dead. So I ran to my car, turned on the car, plugged the phone in, went back to the bar, made sure he didn't leave. Still didn't say anything wrong. Ran back to my car, tapped his charge phone, asked her to ask him for a selfie. He said yes. I was like, thank you. Got the selfie. And she's like, I wish you just spoke to him, because we had an amazing 10-minute conversation, and all you have is a photo. And I was like, that's a really good point.
No, to me that seems a little bit weird, because you're the guy that'll be up on stage and demand the respect of the people that are watching you just by your presence on stage. Yet when it comes one-on-one, you have a more difficult time with that.
I do. And, I mean, I needed Stacy to encourage me to talk to a priest. I could have started with, like, I wanted to be a priest. And he'd been like, oh, don't do it. Ramsey, I like food. Oh, yeah. What do you make really well? You know, there's a conversation right there. But
it's always thinking of the stuff after the fact, right?
Right. And she's 100% right. Like, if I would have just focused on being a person instead of getting a photograph, we might have had an interesting conversation.
So you're traveling right now, and you're at what, Louisiana?
Lafayette, however you want to pronounce it.
Lafayette, Louisiana.
And,
okay.
Yep. And then we drive 2 hours to New Orleans. I did a show last night. It was good. It was fantastic. To the point where, like, we had to start 15 minutes late because we had to keep adding more chairs. That's a fun feeling.
Oh wow! So then you get paid more the more chairs that are in the
No,
place? No. Okay.
It's just what it is. And then tonight we're doing Historically Black College at 6 p.m. and the audience will of course be different than like an all-white audience. It's just how it is.
Is comedy different, or is the show different depending on who's watching the show?
Yeah. I mean, lacrosse. Everyone's just polite there, and they laugh and they applaud. Woo, woo, woo. And then if you're not doing well for a black audience, they'll let you know. Or if something's cheesy, corny, or if you're telling the story and it's not 100% true, they let you know. They're like, no, we're not buying that. Yeah, they hold you accountable.
So nothing wrong with that, though. You should always be held accountable, no. I think. I know that Louisiana has a lot of bars that are open 24 hours a day. Done any partying? No,
we had gourmet hot dogs last night, which was fantastic. We went to a spot called Dat Dog, and I was so excited. I had my DJ with me. His name's Mark B. And as soon as we got to the airport this morning, I'm like, dude, these hot dogs are amazing. Gourmet hot dogs. Like, that's not a thing. I'm like, no. You'll see. We got there 30 minutes before closing time, put in our order. We had a beer that was average. But the hot dogs were awesome. He had an alligator hot dog. I had my typical, like, vegetarian hot dogs. It was, like, with smoked apple, sage, and just ginger, and just all these spices. You're like, damn, this is a good hot dog. So tonight we're going to go relatively hard. We fly out at 5 a.m. So we'll go to the hotel, shower up, and then from, like, I don't know, 10 until 4, we'll hang out at the bars. That's the plan. We'll sleep the whole plane ride.
I don't know if I could stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning anymore.
I don't know if I can either. We're going to try.
Right.
He's a DJ, so give him a Red Bull and he's good.
Right.
But
is he going to be your buddies working the bar?
he's just never been to New Orleans before. And I'm like, you got to check out Bourbon Street just once. I'll make sure you don't get too messed up. Have you experienced New Orleans?
I've never been there. My wife's been there, and my son has been there. Not together. They were there at different times. Obviously, that's what not good. Together means. But they both said it's a lot of fun. My son said that you can actually drink on the streets there.
You can. I learned another thing. So we went to this little just bar, and I had a little bit left in my beer, and it was 10:10. He's like, hey, we closed at 10. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. He's like, no, it's fine. Do you want a to-go cup? And I was like, yes, I do. So he gave me a plastic cup with a straw in it for the little bit of my beer left. Like, I'm free with a to-go cup. But he gave me one for beer. And I said, hey, if I'm walking on the street, like, it's okay? Can I fit it? Do I have to be on the curb? He said, no. It's the rule is it's a closed container. So you're not going to be in trouble for that. I'm like, okay. So to finish it before I enter the car, they said, no. The other thing is, like, you can tape the top of the cup, and then it's a closed container. You're not driving with an open container. And I'm like, what? They even have daiquiri drive-thrus here. You get a daiquiri.
Really?
Yeah, it's in a cup with a straw. And if they tape even the straw opening part, then it's legally a closed container.
I was in Miami a couple weeks ago, and we were on we hopped in a cab. And he's like, you guys want something to drink? And of course I said, yeah. So he pulled over to a liquor store. I ran in, grabbed a couple of beers, and came back out. And we're driving around.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
We're driving around in Miami, right? And the cab driver goes, well, you might want to keep those down. It's against the law to drink in a car. I'm like, oh, okay. So I finished my beer and just went on, but it was just kind of funny. He asked if we wanted beer, stopped at the liquor store, and then told us it's against the law to do it.
And did he take a beer request? He's like, what do you want? Like, what's your drink?
Yeah, he just goes, there's a liquor store right here. You want to just stop here? I'm like, yeah. So we stopped there. And so I just want to say one other thing when it comes to beer is that I'm a little disappointed in you, Chris, because you said that, you were at a bar at 10 minutes after 10, and you had some beer left over in your cup. Unless that was a 64-ounce cup, I'm disappointed that you just didn't go gulp and then finish it off.
It wasn't great. I was like, I want something like a Blue Moon, and it was a local beer, and it was a little bitter. And I was like, this is beer. I get the point where they're going. But it just wasn't amazing, you know? Then I had a savory cup, and I was like, I have a cup now. Still not amazing. I got thrown away pretty fast.
Well, anything else on your mind this morning?
I was in New York not too long ago for the St. Patrick's Day parade. That was decent.
So let me ask this.
Amazing.
Which is better? The
Chicago's.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
All right.
I went to a suburban parade. And I was like, I don't know what this will be. They're not allowed to throw candy because someone could get hurt. So they have to throw it at the ground, and you pick it up from the ground, which makes you feel like a peasant, but so be it. But they gave out a lot of candy. And it's cool, you know, adults eating candy from the ground. Like,
hey, ground candy for everyone.
I know. Any other situation, you'd be like, no, you can't do that. Like, you're an adult, and it's on the ground. But they're like, hey, who fingers? Hey, very nice. You're like, oh, what Starburst do you want? Tootsie Roll. I'm like, Tootsie Roll's not even good to begin with, man. But the New York parade is only good in the sense of, like, if you're a teenager looking to drink underage, then it's great.
Oh, really?
They don't even have floats. They don't have, like, hot air balloons or floats. They just have people walking around the street.
Do they dye anything green in New York? Because I know they do the river in Chicago.
Yeah, we go big, and you know, you're 6 people deep in New York. It's kind of like, I would assume, New Year's Eve. Like, you can't see anything. Like, a lot of waiting, and then the ball finally drops, and you're like, hey, we did it. And they're like, you can't go anywhere because there's millions of people. Stick with Chicago.
Find entertainer and hypnotist Chris Jones at hypnotistchrisjones.com. The One Word Chris Jones Podcast, a podcast for higher production.